of sport. The stadiums, the huge crowds, the competitive nature, and having a few beers with the lads. Each sport out there has its own rules, objectives, and teams. There's a vast number of different sports, sporting events, and tournaments that all come in different shapes and sizes. Football, also known as football. The beautiful game. With its historical roots,
it's called soccer.
1963, football has become by far the biggest sport in the world, being enjoyed by billions.
Fucking hell, mate. Fuck's sake. Fuck off.
Allowing pretty much anyone to understand and play the game. 2 teams, 1 ball, 1 simple goal. Well, actually, there's 2 goals at either end of the pitch. There's 11 players on each team, 10 outfield players, usually made up of defenders, midfielders and attackers, 1 goalkeeper, 90 minutes, 45 each half. Kick the ball with your foot, pass it to your teammates, get the ball in the back of the net. Whoever does this most wins. There's also a referee. He has cards. Yellow cards are a warning, and if a player gets 2 during the match, they receive the dreaded red card, and they get kicked off the pitch. There's corners and throw-ins if the ball goes out of play. Free kicks can be awarded after fouls. They're pretty cool. There's also the offside rule, but don't worry about that. They have men that watch TV for that now. Each team also has a manager that's in charge of team tactics and strategy management changes. They're usually very intelligent individuals, even though Dave, age 42 in a Bristol pub, claims he's more qualified. There's a number of different team formations in football, like 4-4-2, 4-3-3, 4-5-1, or 1-1-1, 1-1-1, 1-1-1.
That would be a really cool formation.
If the match is a final or a knockout game and there isn't a clear winner after 90 minutes, add 30 extra minutes. Still no winner, it goes to penalty shootouts, which now I understand can be super nerve-wracking, but don't worry, your team always scores. And you of course can't have football without the fans. The World Cup, the Premier League, the Euros, the list goes on. Packed stadiums full of thousands of avid supporters screaming for their favourite players to fire the ball into the top corner of the goal and win it for their team to rack up trophies. Unless you're Tottenham. And it's common knowledge that football fans are actually some of the most highbrow, sophisticated gentlemen in all of sport.
Come on, England!
Basketball. Now, the sport of basketball first originated when office workers would play that game where you try and throw a small paper ball into a bin. And then they thought, we should just make a sport out of this. And thus, the NBA was formed, which as of today, consists of 30 teams. Played on a court, 5 players per team try and throw a big orange bouncy ball through the opponent's hoop to score points.
I've never learned about rugby.
Anywhere outside the D is worth 3, and anywhere past the halfway line.
I can't wait to learn about rugby. It's from Australia.
Really cool. Fouls can result in inbound passes or free throws, and whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. Now, it's well known that NBA players are pretty damn tall, with an average height in the NBA being a whopping 6'6". And for any ladies watching that like tall men, I am also that height. And it's not just the NBA, of course. Basketball is also played at the Olympics, where it's no fun unless you're American, with the US men's team winning gold every single year since basketball was introduced in 1936. Except for these 4 years. Good job, guys. You showed them. There is truly some huge names in basketball. Stephen Curry, Kyrie Irving, that guy from Space Jam, that other guy from the newer Space Jam, Bugs Bunny from Space Jam, and Troy Bolton from the Wildcats. The game consists of 4 12-minute quarters, and each team has 7 timeouts they can use throughout the game.
We have a 60-second timeout.
So the players can drink and stuff. And because it's usually an American broadcast, anytime the game stops for more than
drinking should be a sport.
It's ad time. Rugby is arguably the muddiest sport in the world, after mud wrestling. It's played with a stretched football that's scientific name is a rugby ball.
Gilbert.
And teams of 15 big burly men have 80 minutes to try to score tries by getting the ball to the other side of the pitch, which is worth 5 points. Each time a team successfully scores a try, they get a chance at a conversion, which is just a chance to kick the ball through these big posts. They're worth 2 points to make a total of 7. But remember though, the ball can only be passed backwards. Do not break this rule. If you do break this rule, the ref can demand on something called a scrum, where the forwards of both teams have a big hug until the ball pops out one side. There is also a line out, where players go whoop to catch the ball. And oh yeah, players like to tackle each other. Like, a lot. Whenever a player is tackled, a ruck is usually formed, where the players fight over you and the ball. And then there's a maul, where everyone fights over the fucking ball. So whoever scores the most tries at the end of the game wins. But the most important rule in rugby is never, ever take part in team initiations. And overall, for you American viewers, rugby is basically just an English version of American football. American football. Let's have a look here.
It's a lot of rules.
For you English viewers, American football is basically just an American version of rugby. No, of course it isn't. In fact, they're actually quite different. Instead of 15 players, there's 11 per team, with attacking and defending sides that feature even bigger, burlier men. The attacking team try to push the other team forward in marks of at least 10 yards at a time. You can throw the ball as far forward as you like in this one. Tries are called touchdowns. They're worth 6 points instead of 5. The kick after is worth 1 point, not 2. And if you don't even want to take the extra kick, you can just try and run it into the end zone for an extra 2 points. Because why the hell not? And unlike rugby, you can take a field goal and try and kick the ball through these big fuckers whenever you like, really. Games are split into 4 15-minute quarters. Whoever has scored the most points at the end of the game wins. There's tons of other smaller rules, but much like rugby, if you have no idea how the two games work, it's just a bunch of grown men running into each other with a big brown egg for millions of dollars. Some NFL teams have super cool animal team names like the Dolphins or the Eagles, which sounds really threatening until you realise they finished bottom of their division. Each year, the NFL hosts the Super Bowl, a huge event that works as the final match of the season. There's a
I didn't know it happened every year.
Very long and very filled to the brim with adverts.
Bud Light Seltzer.
Bud Light Seltzer.
Bud Light Seltzer.
Bud Light Seltzer.
Bud Light.
Bud Light.
Bud Light Seltzer Lemonade.
Florida.
Win a big trophy and everyone claps, except for the fans of the other team. And just remember that the Super Bowl is a major sporting event, but the Soup Bowl is a bowl that holds soup. And speaking of ads, sit back, grab an unbranded beverage of choice, because it's time
Cricket.
for the In a Nutshell halftime show. And we have a word from our sponsor. Are you bored of generic competitive mobile games? Well, have you ever heard of Raid Shadow
I knew it was going to be Raid.
Raid is a mobile, turn-based battle MMORPG.
I will never do a sponsorship for Raid, no matter how much they've offered me.
You can use my links in the description to download Raid for yourself, either to your mobile phone or personal computer. Raid Shadow Legends has an entire world of fleshed-out, great-looking champions. Each
Fuck
fighting
off,
for their
man.
own
Well,
faction,
I
like
guess,
the Skinwalkers,
I mean, you've
the
got to
Orcs,
make money,
the
right?
Demons,
It's a hustle.
and the Lizard Men.
I am not a lizard.
There really is a huge number of champions for everyone, from common to legendary rarity, including but not limited to the likes of Drowned Bloat Wraith with a big anchor, Snorting Thug with expansive horns, Warboy, and maybe best of all, Torture Helm. Torture Helm, you're so kind. Work through the campaign to learn the basics, level up your champions, or take in the lore.
I was
Like the
definitely
story
not
of the
expecting an
Bannerlords, one of the few
advertisement.
completely human factions in Teleria, with armour, weapons and designs based on the feudal knights of medieval Europe. They've launched a war on their old allies, the High Elves, and rumour has it that their once good king...
This advertisement is quite lengthy, if I do say so myself.
Well, go and find out by fighting with the Bannerlords. My favourite is Archmage Helmut. Look at that beard. And when you're finally ready, take...
People always act like they play these games on a regular basis, when really they don't. It's just a product that they're trying to push.
Not to mention a plethora of shards that allow you to summon a vast...
Like,
range of
actually?
champions
How you doing?
to fight your wars. And this month, Raid has blessed us all. Brand new quests for you
Critical.
clan members to work on together. New benefits for every clan member. Just
AKA Charlie,
clan.
AKA,
And a
what's
brand new
Penguin
clan shop
Zero.
gives you access to some incredibly powerful items. So get playing with your buddies. Not to mention a vast number of brand new champions just waiting to be unlocked. And just for you guys. If you want a huge head start in Raid, all you have to do is either click the link in the description.
I like to
scan the
twist
QR
my
code on
rubber
screen,
bands
and you'll
together
get
like
access
this.
to an epic hero, Kanoru, who is amazing in the Doom Tower, by the way. But wait, there's more. 200k silver, one...
I just
ancient
twist it
boot,
randomly.
one ancient refill, and one ancient shard will all be waiting for you in your inbox, located here, so you can summon an awesome champion as soon as you get in game. And now, back to the sports. Handball. Handball is a weird niche sport, but it's played at the Olympics a lot. 2 teams of 7 players, 1 goalie and 6 outfield players. You can't hold onto the ball for more than 3 seconds like a hot potato, and you can only take 3 steps if you have the ball. You basically just throw the ball around to your teammates and try to yeet that shit in the back of the net. Just whatever you do, don't try to play handball during a football match. Polo. Polo is scientifically proven to be played and watched by people that enjoy caviar. The game is played on horses, formerly known as polo ponies. You have a mallet and have to try and hit a ball through the opponent's 8-foot wide goals to score a point. It's like golf for bronies. You can only legally play the game if your dad has a salary of over $1 million per year. I have no idea how or why this sport was invented. Matches normally last an hour to 2 hours, and whoever scores the most points at the end of the game wins. Water polo is just regular polo, but underwater. I have no idea how the horses don't drown. Field hockey, or the less popular one, is played in teams of 11. Hockey's pretty cool, but you do have to wait a while for the ice rink to melt so that the game can actually take place. The aim of the game is to dribble, pass, and hit a ball with your hockey stick to try and get it into the opponent's goal. Games consist of 2 30-minute halves. It's the sport that no one wants to play in PE, and whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. Ice hockey, or hockey on ice, is the same as regular hockey, except every player has to consume a Smirnoff Ice every 3 minutes. Everyone wears a Rolex and diamond grills, and the ball is frozen. Tennis is a sophisticated sport. The polo shirts, strawberries and cream, and the moaning.
Oh, yeah!
Matches take place on a tennis court and are played with a racket and a ball. Players take turns to serve the ball at the speed of sound and must hit it into the other player's service court. Fail your serve twice, either by missing the area, hitting the net, or grunting slightly, and the other player gets a point. You silly Billy.
That's why you need to
This is all
train.
watched by an oversized toddler, professionally known as the umpire, that sits on a glorified high chair, and ball boys that run at great speeds to serve your every need.
I saw that
Super tiring, so
before.
players often take breaks to refuel. Tennis scoring is pretty complex. Points go up in increments of 15 at a time, so 15, 30, then of course, you say it with me, 40. If both players are on 40, it goes to advantage. Games go into sets. Set is a champion in league. You have to clear top lane, destroy the Eye of Sauron, win a game on Wii Sports, beat Ken from B-Movie, and then you win Wimbledon or something. Table tennis, or ping pong, is tennis for giants. Oh look, it's a little tennis court. Table tennis matches looks like someone has the broadcast on 2 times speed, and hits look like something straight out of an anime. First to 11 points wins a match, best of 5 games, 7 if it's international, and fun fact, 20% of all table tennis tables in the world are actually used for table tennis. The other 80% are used in frat houses for beer pong. Like most sports, table tennis is played around the world. I personally like to watch random Russian men. Come on, man in blue shirt. Table tennis also wins the award for most hypnotising sport. Golf, commonly played by the rich dads of the kids that play polo, is the sport that athletes of all other sports want to get good at. Everyone wants to be the next Tiger Woods. Without the mugshot, of course. Played across huge courses and traversed on a cool buggy, players compete to pot 18 holes in the least amount of strokes. And this system is great because it allows you to talk to people in the bar and how you've been working on your swing to sound intellectual, even if you know nothing about the sport. There's a range of different clubs in golf, each made for different purposes. The putter for close-range putts when you're near the hole, the iron for if you're around 200 yards away from the green, the driver, usually used to tee off to cover great distance, and of course, maybe the most important club of all, the golf club, where you go to cry after
Can you
losing the
use-
game. But don't worry too much about those.
I wonder if you can
Enough
use
level, and a
multiple
man will be
clubs during
carrying
one
them
game.
for you. But one thing we can all agree on is that crazy golf is the best form of golf. Darts is played with darts and the dartboard. Each space on the board is worth different values that equate to the numbers around the outside.
Around the outside.
This ring is double, this ring is triple, this one is cool, but you'll mostly be aiming for this one. Whoever gets to 0 first wins, and you have to be a slightly overweight middle-aged man to master the sport. Boxing. Boxing is very similar, if not identical, to Rock'em Sock'em Robots, except it usually isn't played by robots, there isn't someone controlling the players, and people's heads don't fly vertically upwards. Fighters have 12 rounds to win fights, either by knockout, a towel throw-in, or judge's decision, to win cool belts. There's a number of greats in the sport of boxing, like Mike Tyson, Joe Louis, Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, and KSI's brother.
They forced me to drink milk.
MMA, or mixed martial arts, is a mixture of mixed martial arts,
Don't breathe this.
including wrestling, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, boxing, Muay Thai, Taekwondo, Tai Chi, and Zumba. MMA is most known thanks to the UFC, or the
Capoeira.
Ultimate Fighting Championship, a promotion company that gathers fighters to fight. Fighters fight in the octagon before moving up to different shaped rings like the circle, the square, or the tetrahedron. At grand events like UFC 168, 234, or my personal favourite, 786, 352. Press conferences normally last longer than the actual fights. The UFC is owned by a bald man, hosted by a bald man, and participated in by bald men. Whoever doesn't die wins. Running. Like many other athletic sports, over a number of different distances, you must simply run faster than everyone else. Cycling. Over a number of different distances, you must simply cycle faster than everyone else. Oh, and sometimes it happens in France. Swimming. Over a number of different distances, you must simply swim faster than everyone else. Triathlon. You just do a mixture of the three previous things. Faster than everyone else. There's thousands of sports, but don't you worry. Whilst we've covered many of the main ones, we can quickly brush over the rest. So there's vehicle sports like F1, NASCAR or MotoGP, where all the things go vroom. All the cold icy sports at the Winter Olympics like skiing, snowboarding, ice skating, curling and cool runnings on DVD. And if you take the Winter Olympics and just melt it all, you get water sports like jet skiing, rowing, surfing, etc. Extreme sports like BMX, mountain biking or skateboarding, which was turned into a real-life sport after the popularity of
Extreme!
We can't get shooting and archery, climbing, squash, dodgeball, gymnastics, dressage or horse
What
dancing,
is squash?
badminton or fast tennis, netball
What is
or
dressage?
shit basketball, snooker and pool, which you can just play 8-ball pool to learn those, and volleyball. Just
What
watch
is
Haikyuu.
snooker?
Oh, and cricket. Crickets are orthoproton insects that have mainly cylindrical shaped bodies, round
I know
heads,
nothing
and
about
long
cricket,
antennae.
except that there's a
They often
batsman.
enjoy playing cricket. I mean, there really is something for everyone in the world of sport.
I saw a
There's some
video
weirder
about it
sports too,
months
of course,
ago.
like chess boxing, which is a 4-minute round of chess followed by a round of boxing, and then repeat. Matches usually end in a checkmate or a check for brain damage. Cycle ball, a strange German sport that's just football on bikes.
What?
Cheese rolling, where you chase a roll of cheese down a hill.
Cheese.
Quidditch, where muggles or weirdos run around a field with a broom between their legs. And slap contest.
That's a real
often
sport?
Commented over by Jesus himself.
Yeah, you suck.
Oh, and this sport called baseball. Yep, no idea. So with all of that said, goodbye.
Alrighty, learned a few sports that I've never heard of before. Please like and subscribe.